Right, so far we spent most of our command time looking at positive two commands, right? And I can't remember if we last week went through how to form the negative form of the two command, did we? But here are the steps again, right? Start with the yo form of the present tense. So the yo form of the present tense ends with O, right? So we start with that. We remove the O to get the stem, and we add the opposite two endings. So for the AR verbs, that means we add the ER and IR endings, right? I'm going to show you what those are for the two form just now. And for the IR/ER verbs, we add the AR ending, right? All right, so what does that look like for the two commands? Well, for the AR verbs, it will be ES that you're adding. Right? And for the ER or IR verbs, it will be AS that you're adding. Right? So you'll drop the O and you'll add AS for ER and IR verbs, and you'll drop the O and you add ES for AR verbs. Right? So this is also how we form the subjunctive. Yes, this is for the negative form of the to command. So you're saying to your friend, don't do something. This is how you say it. You're writing a note to a family member about something that you don't want them to do. This is how you say it. We'll look at some examples in a second, right? But you could take down the rule first. Here are some examples. So you want to tell your friend, don't talk. We say, no hables. Don't speak, don't talk. Right? You want to tell your friend, don't eat. Maybe the food is hot. Está caliente. No comas. Don't eat. Right? So for the AR verb, what did we do? We went to hablo, which is the yo form. We took off the O and we added ES. So we got hables. For comer, what did we do? We took the yo form, como, we took off the O and we added AS. So we got comas. Well, one more, escribir. Don't write. Right? So we take the yo form, escribo, take off the O, and we add AS. So we get escribas, no escribas, right? So basically, negative commands come from the subjunctive, which we are not learning in lessons as yet, but eventually your teacher might go over it with you. And if you continue with Spanish, we might do it together, right? But negative commands are formed with the subjunctive. All right, now there are a handful of commands that don't follow this rule because they are irregular. You guys remember some of them? So no vayas, don't go. No seas, don't be. So you might say to your friend, no seas tonto, don't be silly. No estés, again, don't be, right? No des, don't give. All right, let's look at some practice. Okay, so let's say, for this verb, this picture, let's use cantar, and we're going to tell our friend don't sing. For this one, we're going to use, what should we use? Any suggestions for verbs? Here we could use layer. And for this one, we could use indicar to indicate at a point. All right, let's try these three. How do we say these in, how do we say these as no commands? The two form of the no command. Well, I could give you a scribby, but didn't we just have a scribby as an example? So I feel like that would be just looking back at your notes. So tell me how you would say, don't point, don't read, don't sing. All right, good. Answers are coming in. I think I gave you all the hard one with IndyCar, you know. Okay, last chance to send your answers before we correct. Okay. IndyCar sort of give you a trick without experience. So this one, I will do as an example. Instead, try señalar, which is also to indicate like the point out, right? All right, so leer, the yo form, yo, leo, right? We take off the O and we add AS, so we get leas, and we say no leas, right? Good, great. A lot of y'all had this, excellent. Cantar, the yo form is canto, right? Take off the O and we add ES. We add the opposite ending. So no can taste, right? All right, señalar. We add the yo form, señaló. Take off the O, add the opposite ending, señales. Right? All right, now, indicar. Let me think. The yo form would be, sorry guys, I gave you all a tricky one, would be indico, which is correct, right? So that then that led people to take off the O and add ES. The problem is, if I have this word, INDICES, how do I pronounce this? Using Spanish rules of pronunciation. How do I pronounce this C? It's a soft C, right? Indices. Right. So my issue now, for a verb that ends in CAR is I have to change the spelling from C to QU, right? This would be like exceptions that we would do after we're done with the general rules, but I accidentally put this on the screen, so we're going over it now. So it'd be in the case, right? No, in the case, right? Everybody understands? The verb is indicar. There's a hard C sound, k. When I add an ES to after the C though, that changes it to a S sound in the C. So to preserve the sound, we change the C to a QU. There's a spelling change, no indicate, in the case, right? All right, half a minute and we're going to usted. So this screen is going to give us a lot of information. We're going to take it a little bit at a time. Positive commands for usted first, right? So again, we start with the yo form of the present tense. We take off the O ending and we add the opposite usted ending, right? So for yo, I'm sorry, for usted, you could think about what that will be before the note comes up. But again, this is subjunctive. This is how we form the subjunctive. So we take the commands for usted and ustedes from the subjunctive, right? Opposite ending means AR endings for ER and IR verbs, ER and IR endings for AR verbs, right? So the same rule. So for AR verbs for usted, because that is third person singular, we add E. For ER and IR verbs, we add A. So before we were adding ES and AS, now we're just adding E and A. So some examples. Hablar becomes hable. How did we do that? We took the yo form hablo, we crossed out the ending, and we added the ER and IR endings, which is A, and we got sorry, we added, right, yeah, which is E, not A, my bad. Right? So we added the ER and IR endings. So for AR verbs, we add E. Next example is comer. Take the yo form again, como. Cross off the ending. So if it's an ER verb, so we add the opposite endings, the AR verb, we add A. We add a, coma. And last one, escribir. Same thing, we start with escribo. Take it off, and we add A, we get escriba. There are a few irregular positive usted commands, right? Because again, we're forming it from the subjunctive. So if the subjunctive is irregular, then the command will be irregular, right? Luckily, there are not that many irregular subjunctives. So via, you want to tell a new stage person to go, right? Sea, be. Estar, estar, be again. And they give. All right, half a minute. All right, ready? Let's look at ustedes one time. So same steps as usted, but you're adding en or an, an n at the end, right? So examples, hablar becomes hablen, right? So where's my, right? So we take hablo. Cross out the O, and we add en. We take comer, which is the next one, como, which cross out the O, and we add an. Escribir, it would be escribo, the yo form, cross out the O, and we add the opposite ending, an. Right? So we get Coman, escriban, right? And some irregular positive, well, hold on. So let's just make sure this is clear. What color could I use here? Well, let's try blue. Well, let's try blue. So for AR verbs, you had this little note for the others, right? So I'll just add it here. For AR verbs, we are adding EN. And then for ER and IR verbs, we are adding AN. Okay? And then we have a few irregulars. Vayan, still from here, go. Tean, be, estén, be, and den, give. All right, so if your teacher is speaking to the class, she may use this form. Not me, she will have to, because we don't do vosotros anymore, right? So be, give. Right, practice time. Okay, so let's try charlar. Let's try enseñar. Let's try beber. I'm trying to think of a IR verb or ER verb we could use. Any thoughts? Dormir. Let's go with dormir. Now a reminder that dormir is how do we conjugate dormir? We say no duermo. We say duermo, right? Because it's time changing. All right, so try these in the usted and ustedes form. Remember, you start with the O form and then you add the appropriate ending. Take off the O. And add the appropriate ending. Yes, good. Even though it sounds a little strange, the first one. What is the first one? If you go to Charlar first. No, I don't know if you all have noticed yet, because if anybody tried, if you put it into Google Translate, they will give you the infinitive as the command, right? Anybody has had that happen to them? All right, so charlar, we go to charlo. Of course not, because nobody uses Google Translate, right? Good, very good. Okay. And for the usted form, we add E, and for the ustedes form, we add EN, right? So it would be Charlie or Charlene, right? Usted and ustedes. All right, what about enseñar? What is the yo form? Enseño. Enseñar is to teach, right? So you take off the O ending, and we have to add, it's AR, so what endings we have to add? We have to add E for ustedes and EN. Sorry, E for usted and EN for ustedes, right? So it might be enseñé for one teacher and then enseñen for multiple teachers, right? Right, now let's check dormir. So because dormir is stem changing, this O will become UE. So the yo form would really be duermo, right? And we would take off the O and we would add E and we would add EN. So for usted, we would say duerme. And for ustedes, we would say duermen. All right, and this person on the microphone is saying drink. Maybe you have water, you say drink. So bebo, we take off the O and we add E and EN. So bebe. No, sorry, we add A. My God, same for dormir, guys. Come duerma and duerman. We add A and we add AN. So we have to be careful, right? Perhaps you all were telling me that's in the chats and I didn't check it as yet. Right. Duerma, duerman. Very good. Beba, beban. Right? So ER verbs, we add the AR endings, which will be A for usted and AN for ustedes. So beba, beban. Now, what's the difference if I make that mistake, right? That I did just now and I put on the wrong ending. What am I saying to the person? If I tell you duerme versus duerma. Here I am saying, if it's usted, right? It could be he is sleeping, she is sleeping, it is sleeping, usted is sleeping, right? So let's go with usted. So you are sleeping. That's a statement. You are sleeping, right? But if I say duerma, what I really want to say is sleep, right? Maybe go to sleep, fall asleep, sleep, right? I'm telling you to sleep. So that is the difference. If I keep the regular ending, I'm describing the action. But if I change the ending to the opposite ending, I'm telling the person to do something. Any questions? All right, how do we form the negative commands of usted and ustedes? Well, you'll be happy to hear. All we do is put no in front of the positive command, right? And you could simplify this note. You have to take down every single word that's on the screen. You should for sure take down the heading. But we just put no in front of the positive command. So examples, we get no hable, don't talk. No coma, don't eat. No escriba, don't write, right? So you follow the same rules as you did to form the positive commands, but then you put no in front of it, right? So if it's for usted, the opposite endings for AR verbs will be E. And the opposite endings for ER and IR verbs will be E. Letter A, pronounced A, right? All right, and for ustedes, same thing, no in front of the positive ustedes command. No hablen, no coman, no escriban. Right? And ta-da, like magic, here are our answers. So if we wanted to make these commands negative, we would simply put no in front of everything, because we've already done all the hard work. So we would say, don't chat, no Charlie, or no Charlene, right? Don't drink, no beba, no beban. Don't sleep, no duerma, no duerman. Don't teach, no enseñe, no enseñan. Right? Does it, right? Yeah. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Let's just look at a table that compares the different forms. We're just looking. Nothing really to take down. If you want to take it on, you could. You could take a screenshot if you have a folder where you keep potentially useful screenshots. No, we still have irregularities to go over. So you'll see like down here, we have some irregularities, irregular verbs. It's the stems that are irregular, right? All right. So just now we did hablar, comer, escribir. Now this table has the two commands, the positive two commands in there. So habla, you tell your friend to speak, habla, come, escribe. You tell your friend not to speak, you use the opposite ending. No hables. So here we have e. No hables, no comas, no escribas. Right? And this is the only one. This positive two command is the only one that doesn't follow the same pattern of forming the commands. Right? For stayed, we add e for AR verbs, and we add a to the ER and IR verbs. Same for negative, and then we add no as well, right? And for stayed, we add en for AR verb, two AR verbs, and we add an to ER and IR verbs. Same for the negative with no as well, right? All right, now we did not meet tener, hacer, and poner. So perhaps what you could do is take down the irregular one before we go on break. Or would you like to take the break first and then come back and do it? Yeah, no problem. We could take a break first. Y'all have done a lot so far, right? So why don't we pause now for 5 minutes? And then we're gonna come back and you could take down the irregular. And what I would suggest is that if you do it as a table, leave about 10 lines below it. So that when we add more irregulars to it, you'll have space to keep everything in one place, right? And these are the headings on top here. If you come back before time is called, of course you can start, right? But these are our headings. And we're writing down the irregular commands here, right? So let's just make sure we know them. So this one is go. Use a more cheerful card. So go, be. And you also had a star as we were going through the slides as another irregular. Staying, stays, right? All right. Tener is to have. So have, as in you might want to tell somebody have it, you have it, don't have it, I don't know. Hacer, to make or to do, right? So this would be do, make, I don't know. Poner, to put, this will be put, right? So no vaya, no vayan, don't go, don't be, don't have. Like you might say different, don't have nightmares. Have good dreams instead. Don't do, right? Don't do the homework. Don't put that there. So usually there'll be other words to go along with it to make it make sense, of course, right? And these meanings, of course, will be the same for all the positive forms and all the negative forms, right? So I'm giving you a few minutes here. Anybody in class thinks they've already done June 2013? Okay. All right, so here are the pictures. You can see the first two to begin with, right? So you could guess that we can't guess anything really. So the first one is some people buying tickets, boletos. Here's some people looking at a map. Here are some people buying necklaces. Here's a man walking dogs. What do they have? What do they all have in common? Nothing. And in the next one, you see a man entering a door, a child pulling a wagon, a child pushing a toy, 3 children playing. All right. So you're going to listen to the sentence and then choose the picture that best represents the sentence. I will read the sentence twice, and if you still need me to read it again, I'll read it again, right? All right, here we go. So again, you're heading up, please, June 2016. All right, here we go. Las turistas compran collares. Las turistas compran collares. What do you think the answer is? And if you're not sure of the answer, what do you feel you could rule out? What did we hear clearly? What word you heard clearly? I bet you heard compran clearly. And you heard turistas clearly, right? Okay, so you heard turistas and you heard compran, right? All right, which pictures have the turistas? The last word could be tricky, I understand. If I write it down, you'll get the answer immediately. But what is which pictures have turistas in them? B and C, right? Because you could tell B and C because here are these people standing up looking at a map and they have a camera and they have sunglasses and a hat because they're going sightseeing. And over here too, turistas because they have this bag, this backpack and this hat, right? That tells us they are visiting a place. Nobody dresses like that on a normal basis, right? So this is, it can't be A because these are not turistas. They are comprehending something, but it's not the thing, right? And then here's this guy with dogs, so he has nothing to do with it, right? All right, so the last word is collares. All right, so unless you know the word, then it'll be a little harder to make a guess. But is anyone buying anything in B-Boy? I guess they could be, but it wouldn't be collares. What is that? Fish, vegetables, a map, keepsakes, I don't know. Right, so which is the answer? Now that I've written out the word, which is the answer? Collares looks like the word collar, like a collar that you put around your neck. I guess that's where the dogs with the collars come in. But anyhow, necklaces, right? So the one where the tourists are buying necklaces, that is C, right? Which some people got anyway already without the explanation. So good job if you did. All right, number 1, C. All right. All right. Use the words that you recognize to help you figure out the answer, right? Number 2. El niño empuja el juguete. El niño empuja el juguete. What can you narrow it down to because of the word that you heard? You can narrow down again to B and C. Yeah, because it says El Nino. Very good. All right, so you heard El Nino. So we know it's not this fella. And it's not these people, right? And then you heard El Juguete. What is El Juguete? The toy. I'll just write stop because both of them have a juguete, right? Remember that sometimes when you hear a H sound, it's not an H, but a J in Spanish, right? Just like up here, when you hear a Y sound, it's not a Y, but an LL, right? All right. Empuja. So which one we choose depends on our understanding of this word, empuja. All right, so this is pushes. The boy pushes the toy. So empujar, to push, right? And the opposite to pull is tirar, to pull, right? So number 2 is C. He is pushing the toy. El niño empuja el juguete. Obviously, please write down any words that you didn't register when they were read, right? And memorize them, memorize the sound of. All right, number 3. La aeromoza sirve la comida. La aeromoza sirve la comida. All right, what can we make out? You can make out sirve la comida, right? Now, just because you can only make out one thing doesn't mean you should choose. Sorry, this is one word. Sirve la comida. The safe thing that you're not sure. Did you make a educated guess, right? All right. Now let's listen to the first word. La aeromoza. Now I know we met this word in class. In first term, I think. Right? What other word in Spanish do you know begins with that sound aero? Do you know aeropuerto? Right. You know airport. So if you know the sound goes with airport, then probably what is an aeromoza? Air hostess. Yeah. Right? So what is the answer? La aeromoza, right? Here it is. Another word you will hear is azafata. But in the listening specifically, they use the first word probably to confuse you. So which one is it? Which picture shows us la aeromoza sirve la comida? All right, guys. So the answer has to be A because it has the animal sun, it has a surfing food, right? Please again make a note of the words that you couldn't make sense of when you heard them, right? Sorry, I lost my screen here just now. Right. A ellos les gusta charlar. A ellos les gusta charlar. What are the clues? Ellos. Which one has ellos? Very good. Only one of them has ellos. Great. Les gusta charlar. Right? They like, we just use charlar to chat. Right? They like to chat. So the boys like to chat. D. Right? Anybody needs me to write out anything? Please say. Otherwise, let's go to 5, right? All right, number 5, we only have 8 to get through. And then we can finish class a little early as a reward for all the work we did today. Están mirando las noticias. Están mirando las noticias. Okay, we have to get this. We have to know what noticias is. What are noticias? It sounds like notices, but it's really the news. Están mirando. What is mirando from? From mirar, to look at. But you could also tell están means that whatever we're talking about is plural. Están mirando. So when we say están mirando, we mean we're doing it right now. They are doing it right now. Las noticias. Right? And noticias is news. So the answer is right. Mirando, from mirar, to look. The answer is D, right? Everybody sees that? To look at. Not just to look, but to look at. All right. 3 more. Okay, so there's the cake. 1, 2, 3 cakes and some candles, right? La torta de la quinceañera es muy grande. La torta de la quinceañera es muy grande. So we're talking about la torta. What is a torta? Cake, right? And we're talking about a quinceañera. Quinceañera. So can we figure out which one it is? Which cake is for quinceañera? It's not D. D does not have a cake. B, right? Because this one has 15 candles. So a quinceañera is to celebrate a girl's 15th birthday. Very special in Latin American culture, right? All right, number 7. Están mirando las estrellas al aire libre. Están mirando las estrellas al aire libre. Están mirando again. What does that mean? Oh, sorry. They are looking at, what are las estrellas? Las estrellas. Las estrellas. So something plural, right? So there's only one thing here and one thing here, so it can't be that. Plus, it could only be either B or D, because están, plural, it's a group of people doing it. Well, more than one person doing it, right? And yeah, las estrellas is the stars, right? And then they say al aire libre. Outside in the open air. Okay, so this one is B. All right, last one. Se fracturó el brazo. Se fracturó el brazo. All right, se fracturó. From fracturarse, to break like a bone. So it's reflexive, right? I don't know why I have this in brackets, but I do. All right, el brazo. All right, so who has broken their bone? Who has broken their arm? El brazo. Why is it C and not B? Because in B, they've broken many things. El brazo, las rodillas, their knees, their legs, everything, right? But she has broken her arm alone, right? So se fracturó el brazo. Okay, so 8C. Okay, look, these questions repeat. They are hard now, but when you get them for a test, they will be easy. Okay. All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. Today we spent our time going over the ways to form usted and ustedes commands, positive and negative, and two commands, negative, two commands, right? Next week we'll do a little bit of practice. I'm gonna change up the worksheet a bit, I think. There's too much repetition, which I didn't realize before, of the verbs we used as examples. So I'm gonna change that up a bit. We start with the worksheet, and then we have irregular things to look at. Again, if you all have a topic you need to revise before the end of the term, please say, right? All right. If you all have no more questions and you don't need anything else, you all are free to go, right? Enjoy your evening and your weekend. Bye-bye.